Okay,
There you go, Paul.
we'll go live in 3, 2, 1.
Good evening. This is Bernard Green, Chair of the Brookline Select Board, and this is the meeting of the Select Board for November 14, 2023. Let's start off with announcements, updates from the Select Board. Anything from anyone? Yes.
So this is to acknowledge, excuse me, that we have received a number of emails from constituents, I assume, with the subject line, please reaffirm. And that's all well and good, and I'm happy in this instance to reaffirm the statement that is published on our town website that includes my statement on the situation in Israel, as well as the statements of all the other select board members. And so I do reaffirm that, but I want the people to know who have been sending this through a mass mailing type of a system that I usually reply to emails from folks sent to me individually as a select board member or all of us as select board members. I tried to reply to these emails. And in fact, every person to whom I tried to reply, I got a bounce back message that it could not be delivered. So I think there is something about the mass mailer that is preventing us from acknowledging the emails, but we did receive them. You know, as an aside, they're all the same. And I think, you know, if the personal comment is, I think a more effective approach to the select board members, if you want to engage in a discussion of some of these issues, would be to individualize and speak from personal experience in whatever email you send us, so that we can have a true conversation and a dialogue under your guide. But mass mailings are okay too, and I just felt a little bit bad about not being able to acknowledge the mass mailing to the people who sent it, but it's a fault of the mailing program and not because I didn't try. So that's my announcement.
Thank you. Any other, Chad?
Thank you, Chair. I wanted to address an issue that came up on Fridays regarding posters and signage around the community. I received word that a new method of putting up posters was making its way around town and making it difficult for members of the Department of Public Works to do their jobs. Posters were being placed using anti-defacement tactics like a petroleum jelly coating and hanging them out of arm's reach on public property. And the DPW hadn't experienced a situation like this before and was concerned that the effort needed to address these methods during their regular business day was leaving other maintenance items unaddressed. Instead of changing our policy in response to this, I wanted to call the community's attention to it in the hopes of helping people making these postings realize that they might unintentionally be causing a burden on staff. Now, the content of these posters relates to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East. They feature victims of the Hamas terrorist attack in Israel on October 7th, who were Hamas kidnapped. And even though it was the method of posting that warranted my outrage, not the content, I believe these posters have been around in the community since shortly after those attacks, but we only brought this up when the specific method emerged. The outreach clearly triggered an outpouring of strong emotion and concern over a very difficult issue that means a lot personally to members of our community. First, I wanted the community to have clarity on what the policy regarding postings on public property is, so they can feel confident that it is being applied fairly. The Department of Public Works assigns its workers to sections around town for regular care and maintenance, which includes removing unauthorized postings from public property. As part of that process, staff are sometimes given work orders that arise from complaints we receive, either over Brookline Online, which is our online system for complaints, or through other means. But unless it raises a safety issue, no one complaint is given priority over another. They are addressed as they are received, with an aim to resolve them within 24 to 48 hours. There's some harder to address issues like graffiti can take 72 hours or more. And the work orders they receive are in addition to the ordinary upkeep and maintenance responsibilities they have. The town does not control every fixture it has in the community either. We are responsible for the signal boxes, most signal boxes in town, and ornamental lights, for example. But we're not responsible for MBTA or USPS equipment. That might be where some of the concerns arise in the community about seeing things stay up. We have reminded staff of the existing policy, which is that addressing a work order means cleaning the entire fixture, not just the subject of the work order. Now, people have asked whether we can make an exception for these particular flyers because of their content and because of the importance to people who post them. Let me begin by expressing my deepest sympathy for the people who are asking that question. I've been really disheartened to see this issue ping pong around the internet and see people assume the worst about everyone's intentions. Many members of our community have been personally impacted by these kidnappings. Some of our neighbors know people on those posters. When they talk of what the posters mean to them, they speak of them as a way of giving voice to their grief. I think my initial message to the community lacked an empathy and understanding for the reasons behind the poster's existence in an attempt to emphasize that we weren't objecting to their content, but expressing concern about how they were being posted. That's my error. I apologize. What we cannot do, however, is treat postings differently based on their content. I know some members of our community have raised questions about whether we might create a dedicated space for public generated content to serve as an outlet for the grief that I mentioned. That space would need to be open to all community members. And I wouldn't want it to turn into the in-person equivalent of kind of back and forth message board fights I've seen on the subject. We will continue, however, to evaluate ways of addressing the community's concerns. Which brings me to my last point. Just as I hope that we lead with empathy and understanding in this trying time for our Jewish and Palestinian neighbors, we must, as I have repeatedly said, stand firm against discrimination of any sort. Our community is emphatically opposed to hate of any kind. The sick spread anti-Semitic ideas in the wake of October 7th is inexcusable. So are the attacks that label all Palestinians as subhuman. It is our mission, the staff, to ensure that all of our community members feel safe and welcome here. We will learn from this experience and ensure that our messaging does not create confusion or engender any misapprehensions in the future. It's my understanding that the select board intends to discuss a policy regarding its own signage and messaging at its regular meeting on November 28th. In the interim, should you have any concerns or comment, please let me know. My email address is carey@brooklinema.gov. Thank you for your understanding. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Any other comments, based on the select board?
Bernard, I would like to say just one thing. I don't have a prepared remark, but so I'm going to speak from the heart on this. First, I want to reiterate everything that Chaz had just said about empathy and the importance that we treat everybody with kindness and respect and understanding. There is no playbook for this. This is to a person on the select board a very challenging time. We're having a lot of communication with the community, heartfelt communication. People are angry, people are distraught, they're fearful, and they're not sure how to proceed. There is no playbook for this for us. I do know that the select board, and I'll speak for myself, but I imagine my colleagues based on their statements as well, abhor what's happened in Israel. And we abhor any type of discrimination within the community. And know that we're doing our best to navigate this, to treat everybody with respect. And it is a very, very, very difficult situation for all of us.
Thank you. Any other updates, comments from the select board? Okay, let's move on to public comment. Devin, could you set out the rules?
Thank you for joining us for public comment. This is an opportunity for members of the public to share information and issues that are happening in the town of Brookline that are important to them. You will have 3 minutes to make your comment, and we will give you a verbal warning at 30 seconds. At that time, please conclude your remarks. If the chair permits, there will be an opportunity at the conclusion of the meeting for additional public comment. But the policy as adopted last week emphasizes that only 15 minutes will take place at the beginning of the public comment period at 3 minutes per person.
Can I add that town meeting starts at 7, so we may not be able to extend that opportunity, but we will try.
At this time, there is 1 member of the public in person and 11 joining us virtually. No one has signed up in advance for public comment, but if someone is interested in making a public comment at this time, please use the hand raise or Q&A feature to indicate you'd like to make a comment. We're all set.
Okay, thank you, Debbie. Next, we have miscellaneous items, starting off with minutes from November 7, 2023. Any edits to those minutes, corrections? Seeing none, move approval of the minutes for November 2023. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. John Van Scoyac,
Aye.
Miriam Ashkenazi,
Aye.
Michael, sorry, Mike. Michael Sandman,
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
Let's see, who am I? Chair votes aye. Okay, next, we have items, 3B through 3N. I'd like to take them together, but I want to take out 3M for additional discussion. Unless anyone else wants to take out another item. No? Okay. I move approval of items 3B through 3L and, yes.
I'm a little slow and you went a little fast.
Sorry.
There is another item I'd like to just, pull aside, if that's okay with the,
Sure.
other board members. And that is, the second row, yes, 3K,
3K,
yeah,
and that is.
that is the Anatolian that they.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I move approval of items 3B through 3J, and then 3L and M.
And
Yeah, and
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah. N, excluding 3M and 3K. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. John Van Scoyac,
aye.
Miriam Ashkenazi,
Aye.
Michael Flannery,
Aye.
yeah, got it.
Mhm.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Okay, let's start off with 3K. John, what is your?
Well,
Current
we received an email on this, and I realized, that under our procedure for these particular matters, there had been a hearing on this. I suppose that person could have spoken at that hearing. I don't know if that person did. I don't know if anyone else did, but that person who emailed this afternoon raised a question which has been very much on my mind, and I'm not sure what road we're going down here. There have been other applications that we granted for establishments to have a license that would extend until 2 AM. And I'm pretty sure we've approved some. I'm not sure what standard we use for deciding when an establishment staying open until 2 AM is okay and when it might not be okay. And I'm not sure whether we ever even had a discussion of whether we're setting a new precedent for how late establishments can stay open, at some potential risk to disturbance of the peace for people who live nearby commercial districts. So I don't want to be unfair to this particular applicant, which, by the way, cards on the table, this restaurant is one of my favorites. I've been there many times. But at the same time, I'm not sure what's contemplated here. And in fact, it's going to be actually made, if they're gonna make use of it until 2, I'm not 100% sure for what purpose. In other words, there can be very quiet purposes to serve one person who wanders in, at a late hour. But if there is any intent to accommodate parties, because there is quite an outdoor area at this restaurant, that seems to be something that should be under consideration. And I think we should have a discussion of whether we need to set policy on this, since we've heard these applications come to our way more than once.
Paul?
Thank you, John, thank you. So, this, as you said, was in response to, a letter that we received. As you know, I'm a member of, this smaller group that, is dealing with licensing hearings during the week, and I'm bringing it as part of the consent agenda. This particular case, we did discuss, there was no public comment, but that could have been that the individual was busy at that time. And what we discussed was that there are 2 other, I believe, establishments that are within the neighborhood that have a similar type of operating hour. I think they're closing at 2 o'clock. So at that point, we felt it was consistent with what was taking place as a precedent within that hearing.
Aaron?
Thank you. I would add that this is a very this is Washington Street. This is a restaurant that's embedded among other restaurants and businesses. It's not in a quiet neighborhood. It's not what I would consider a residential part of Washington Street. So I think it's quite reasonable, especially knowing that there are other establishments with similar hours.
Valerie, may I just respond to that? Sure. I'm not sure that's 100% accurate reflection of the situation. The corner of Davis Avenue, is just, less than a block from this establishment, and there's plenty of residential, on Davis Avenue. And I guess what Paul said is exactly what is bothering me. When we approved the first of these, there was kind of a, an attitude of they're probably not gonna use it. We don't know anybody who actually stays open until 2 AM, if they want the flexibility of saying, oh, maybe it's just a clean up, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, all of a sudden, there's two, and having two means that we have to grant a third. Will granting a third mean we have to grant a fourth? Will granting a fourth mean, are we creating a 2 AM zone, in Brookline Village? That would concern me, and especially since we've never had a discussion of it.
But we have plenty of 2 AM zones. don't we?
Well, do we?
I mean, we have in certain.
Zones, but.
Right, no, in certain areas like Coolidge Corner, yes. I mean, in this area, I believe Paul is correct. There are two other businesses, Blossom Bar and Garrison House. who Both are, I believe, are allowed to be open until 2 AM.
Like,
I was just looking at Google Maps and Street View and so forth, and the immediate area, Davis Avenue is a little bit of a walk, and it's a full block. The immediate area is all business. And I don't see an issue.
and we're not asking for outside entertainment. And it's just.
Yeah.
They open.
There will not be outdoor seating.
There's a strange phenomenon going on here where members of the board know full well that there are residences over the buildings, for example, Garrison House. One of our fellow cabinet members lives, in the block over Garrison House. So I don't think we should be writing off the fact that there are residents in this area.
And the concern for late hours relates to whether they would become nuisances to surrounding residences or other businesses.
Yeah.
And where, we're talking about eating until 2 AM, we're serving alcohol too. And we have no, I guess we have no history of drunken brawl afterwards in this area or any area. The reason for concern for late opening or late closing, I don't think there's applicable here.
Well, I hear my fellow board members thoughts. They're not concerned. I am. I don't know whether you agree with me. We ought to at least have a discussion on what is our policy regarding when we will and when we won't grant a 2 AM entertainment license or liquor license.
I don't know if we have a policy, but we've always had that discussion.
But I think, John does raise a good, as we start to think about increasing density within our commercial courts, we're gonna have a big conversation about that tonight. And increasing business on ground floor and potential residential above. This in fact will become an issue that I think that we need to take a holistic view of. And understand what are the implications for incremental addition to establishments that want more outdoor seating, which is another one on the agenda tonight. Perhaps expanding their operating hours, perhaps expanding foot traffic late at night. I do think that is something to consider. I think this situation is not that right now, in that there are two other establishments. I believe we spoke with any complaints from the other establishments that haven't been taking place. And we felt, reasonably certain that this was not going to be a big problem. I certainly, if there are complaints, we can do what we did with the recent establishment and make some adjustments. So I think that's always at our disposal as a tool to be able to take corrective action should something go.
Any further discussion? How do you want to handle it?
Well, I've expressed myself on this subject. I'm going to vote against it. But I want to thank Paul for his comments. I was beginning to really the only person who's not a 2 a.m. party guy on this board.
Hey, they all
I
want,
can tell Mike and Mary and Bernard, you know, they're out for all.
Wow, right.
Used to be.
Well, we can, the other thing, we on staff can certainly get back to you and, if this is an issue that the board wants to take up in terms of general policy guidelines about when, closing hours and so forth, what determines, we can work with you on that. We can help develop sort of a guideline policy going forward. So it doesn't feel like it's just sort of ad hoc, it takes from neighborhood.
and just briefly, John, and having an experience of being a direct abutter in St. Mary's business district, which has turned into, there's quite a few restaurants.
Yeah.
That are open late. The main thing that we have as a result of that is foot traffic. The biggest issue that we dealt with in the past is the noise and cleanup during the outdoor seating areas. The clanking of dishes of china. And St. Mary's specifically with Barcino, we're trying to apply this to the new food court that is being developed. To have cleanup be consistent at a time, I think it's 10 o'clock, I think, is where we settle on that. But certainly outdoor dining until 2 a.m. or music outdoor, that could certainly be a problem. Hopefully that is not the case.
Okay, we have not voted on this, correct? Yeah, I don't know. So, I move approval of items B 2 through J and items B, L through M. On favor, please indicate by saying aye. John Van Scoyac?
Yes.
We were excluding K and N.
Aye.
Mary Moshman,
Aye.
Mike Simon,
Aye.
Paul Warren,
Aye.
and Chair votes aye. Next, you wanted to discuss N or just vote on?
So it's M, sorry.
Vote M?
Yes, M.
Sorry.
Okay, no, we didn't, M is Mary, no. So so this is an application for a common victualler license, and it includes requests for indoor and outdoor seating. And at that regularly scheduled licensing panel hearing that Paul discussed, a question came up about this space. And as you may know, its situation is new in Brookline. It's a situation where there are a number of adjoining storefronts shared by the same owner that will also share potential for outdoor seating space. Although it's our understanding that individual store operators will be responsible for their own areas and won't be sharing tables. We also understand that those spaces are not all committed yet, and so there may be some instances where there are stores that do not have outdoor seating, because they may not be restaurants, for example. But there is that sort of pergola where there is no immediate divider or indication of division for where seating is. So during the hearing, a question was raised about the overall plan for that seating area in order to ensure that there wasn't unintentional overcrowding or use of space that might trigger issues with noise or sidewalk traffic. And we know that there's a preliminary plan that exists that the owner has worked through. But as a matter of due diligence, just to ensure the consistency of licensing conditions across all those storefronts, we've discussed, and we think it best to approve the license, the common victual license with the indoor seating now, but hold the question of outdoor seating until staff and the panel have had a chance to talk with the property owner directly, and just ensure that we're treating everybody who rents in that space fairly, giving everyone the same opportunity and not creating a circumstance where it's overburdened with seating or people have different restrictions, that are not based on, if there are unfair restrictions because of first come, first served problem. So there is a memo in the packet from council for the retailer that indicates some of the things that they're working on. For example, they do intend to have temporary stanchions erected so that if people use that outdoor space, there is clear division. We want to just have that discussion and make sure that as renters fill that space, they're accommodated appropriately in that outdoor seating. So accordingly, I recommend that you approve the common victual license with the 13 indoor seats, but hold that portion of the application for outdoor seating in abeyance until a later date, and that date will be determined by staff, and so the process can move forward.
Any question, any discussion on that?
I would like to add, Bernard, that, Devin, I texted you a picture. I don't know if you can display it. You may or may not have it. This is, as Chad said, a unique situation with the Brookline. This is a fairly extensive area that's being redeveloped by a very collaborative and well-respected individual that owns the property He's worked proactively with the community to get support, to keep us informed. But this is, it is unique in that, this is 7 storefronts that, are in a row, and the storefronts are varying sizes. And it's unclear, if the total number of outdoor seating in the same, on the same areas, it's not on the sidewalk, but it's adjacent to it because it is a wide sidewalk and it's private property. But if you take, there's 7 storefronts, and the one that came before us is the smallest one. And it's offering 31 seats, it's looking for the license, 31 seats. If you just do the math, 7 times 31, that's quite a few outdoor seats. There's nothing like it in Brookline. It's larger than anything we've ever done. And it is contiguous. It's not like there's one and then a block later, there's another one, there's a block later, there's another one. So I do appreciate the town administrator's leadership on reaching out to the owner so that we can have a conversation to understand the totality of the space and how that space will interact with the public realm. It really is. And this is, again, something that we're going to be facing as we increase density. This is not the first time we're going to have this type of conversation.
Yes. So I would like to suggest a field trip to the Champs-Élysées. We can
I
see
also, sorry.
long strips of development of this sort.
Can I also ask whether the plan of the developer can have every one of those sites be a restaurant?
That
or
is,
other outdoor
that's,
seating,
it's a great question. That is his vision. Now, whether he can actually, we've, I think, approved 3 or 4 of this. Of the 7, and so this is what it looks like. It's, I mean, it will be beautiful. It's very unique. I think it's going to create an incredible vibrancy and interaction between the private and public realm, and where the community is very supportive. It's just unclear what does it mean to have 200 or 300 seats outside at one given time.
I spoke with the building commissioner today, who was able to provide this submission, which came from the developer to the planning board, which as approved, this total area will not exceed 271 seats. That is the number. And that was the number that was approved by the planning board. And you can see, and I'll pass this around for board members and also add a copy of it to the packet, the individual areas as their section here. We did talk to counsel for the developer on Friday, who submitted a memo for your packet, which indicated that they are open to creating those stanchions and separation so that it does not feel like, while the original concept was a food court, that is no longer the vision. It makes more sense for each individual unit to control their outside space. So that is what's going to happen moving forward. And what you can see here is where my cursor is this unit E, which is the Cayo Matcha location. As select board member Warren indicated, this section here is where the 31 seats would be, and I'm happy to pass this around for folks to take.
I need to say it, but I think that it's a very good approach to deal with this unique situation. We always talk about the need for commercial development here in Brookline in order to take some of the burden off of residential taxpayers. So as we come up with an approach to this situation, I hope we always also bear in mind that we need to make sure that we're not making it difficult for businesses to either start up or continue. And we've gotten we've gotten some complaints about in terms of difficulty doing business here in Brookline. And if we really want to, increase commercial development, we have to be mindful of the fact that we can't be having less development. But so we voted for the majority of the items. Why don't we start with, unless there's further discussion.
So we're gonna vote, we need to vote on this one, Bernard, with the 16 indoor seats and abeyance on the 31 until
Right.
there's a broader discussion. I guess 13.
Let's vote on.
Just clarifying, I mean, I think hearing everything and looking at the plan, and I think I just want to know when will we come back to them. I don't want to, I want to do it in a timely enough manner that they can advantage themselves.
So Mayor, as, this is now the third time I've sat through an individual
Yeah.
restaurant coming, and it's always presented as one, and you never have a fuller picture. Say,
Along
okay,
those
for some-
seven,
Yeah, so
out of the
again, 271 seats, that's a lot.
Yeah,
Right, Barcino has maybe 35 outside,
yeah.
which is a fraction of the indoor seating. Again, the neighborhood has been very supportive
Yeah,
of
yeah.
working with them. And this is not a very.
All seven to come in front at
No,
once.
no, we're gonna talk with the owner and have a better
Okay.
understanding just how it's all gonna function, and then we'll come back with it.
Okay, so first, we're gonna vote item 3K, which is the employee restaurant on Washington Street. All in favor of approving this change of hours up to 2 a.m. Please indicate by saying aye. Jonathan Sawyer,
Yeah.
Mary Mashpelati,
Yes,
Mike Simon,
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Next, item 3N.
and there's in there.
Okay. So I move approval of the common victualler license with indoor seating for 13 tables. And the application for an entertainment license with respect to those 13 tables, entertainment consisting of radios. All in favor, please, is that an accurate statement?
Perfect.
Okay. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Jonathan Sawyer.
Aye.
Mary Mashpelati.
Aye.
Mike Sandman.
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
We'll get back properly on the outdoor seating.
Okay, next, our regular calendar. First item is police department hiring. Question of approving the following authorization to hire request from the police department for a public safety dispatcher. And then we also have, and I think we can both these together, question of approving the appointment of 3 probationary police officers, Tonga Corey-Reedson, John Armenti, and Brian Cabeas. Apologize if I missed the last name. Any discussion or any objections to taking them together?
Yeah, Chief Pastor can talk a little bit about it.
Chief Pastor, good evening.
Good evening. Thanks for having me. So I come before you tonight to ask for the appointment of 3 officers as probationary police officers. These applicants have come to us already having completed the MPTC Academy, and they're certified by post. They aren't laterals, rather they have fulfilled all these requirements prior to taking the civil service entrance level exam. So they're coming right off of the civil service list for us, but we're fortunate in that they've already been trained and working other places. And so they'll be ready to come to us, go through a week of in-house training to learn our policies and procedures and standards. And then they'll be ready to hit the streets.
Okay. Do you want to, for our wide audience, you want to talk about the individuals?
Sure, I'm happy to.
Okay, and also, I mean, very interesting. Properly, we also have the public safety dispatch position. Anything you want to say about that?
Sure thing. So first, I'd like to introduce our new, again, with your approval, our new probationary officers. Ms. Kunga Chodzen is a 24-year-old female born in Tibet. She currently resides in Medford. She graduated from Manyon in 2017 and from Salem State University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. She has, like I mentioned, graduated from the MPTC Academy through the National Guard and has been employed by the Massachusetts National Guard since 2020. John Armenti is a 35-year-old male raised on Cape Cod. He currently resides in Quincy. He graduated from Thornton Academy High School, attended Cape Cod Community College. He has been employed as a Barnstable County Sheriff for 8 years, graduated from the Northern Essex Community College Police Academy, and he's currently employed as a Salem State University police officer. And then finally, Ryan Cabezas is a 26-year-old male raised in Londonderry, New Hampshire, and he also resides in Medford. He graduated from Londonderry High School and from Castleton University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. Mr. Cabezas has graduated from the Northern Essex Community College Police Academy and is also employed as a Salem State University police officer. We are still in the process of hiring additional officers under a previously approved authorization to hire. We are hoping to send 5 additional officers to the police academy starting in January. 2 of those police officers, or student officers rather, are working right now as our public safety dispatchers, which is why we have also asked at the same time for the authorization to hire for those positions, so we can get ahead of that process and not have vacancies.
Thank you. Any discussion? Questions? I move approval of the authorization to hire 2 public safety dispatchers and 3 probationary police officers. Please indicate your approval by saying aye. John Van Scoyac.
Aye.
Miriam Ashmati.
Aye.
Michael Sandman.
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Thank you, Chief Baxter.
Thank you all very much.
Next, MWRA sewer bond.
Good evening.
Oh.
Hello. I'm hiding over here. The station. In the staff pod. Good evening, Lincoln Heineman, the town's director of finance. Also online, joining us virtually, is EPW Commissioner Aaron Shute and Water and Sewer Division Head Jay Hersey. What's before you and what we're seeking the board's approval for is a financial assistance and loan agreement package from the Massachusetts Water Resources Authority for the town's ongoing work on the infiltration, to address infiltration into the town sewer system. The financial outline of it is that there would be $2.8 million in the form of a grant from the MWRA and $943,000 in a no interest, zero interest loan. You can pay back over 10 years to the MWRA, so 75% grant, 25% zero interest loans, or really generous terms from the MWRA. So again, we're seeking the board's approval for is the financial assistance and loan agreements. And if the board approves it tonight, if each board member who votes for it would be sure to sign it in duplicate so that we get these documents off to bond counsel expeditiously, that would be great. And obviously happy to answer any questions.
And the documents are here.
They are.
Kate has them.
Yep, so they're in the packet, and yes, Kate has them.
For
Oh, I'm sorry, it's yes, Kate has them.
any discussion? Good, because we have the vote that. No discussion? Here. This is not hearing, I think. 7 is the vote language in here.
Yes, and it is very simple. You're just going to refer to the votes as presented in the package.
Oh, okay.
You can say that.
I move approval of the MWRA sewer bond loan as laid out in the package. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. And John Van Scoyac.
Aye.
Mary Mashma.
Aye.
Mike Sandman.
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Okay, thank you. The next item is noise bylaw public hearing. And it's scheduled for 5:30, which is.
Almost 20 minutes here.
Okay, who's gonna present it?
We have Regina Olivieri here with us from Shawmut Construction.
Hi, Devin.
Hi, Regina. Thanks for joining us.
Hello, Regina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Regina Olivieri from Shawmut Design and Construction, and I'm here to present for 850 Boylston Street. So we we filed a noise bylaw variance for this upcoming weekend at 850 Boylston Street, which is Brigham and Women's Hospital. Our project is the construction of a new egress stair tower to the existing building. And we are proposing to set up a crane to hoist material this upcoming Saturday and dismantle on Sunday.
Okay. That it?
That's it. Would you like me to review the time frame that we proposed, or do you have any additional questions? This crane's going to be set up on private property. I should have mentioned that. I'm sorry.
And describe the current use of that property, and it's the medical building. On
Correct.
the side of Boston Street. So there is a development on the north side that, don't want people to confuse it with.
Yes, so we're right off of Route 9. So
And there are no residential properties nearby, as I recall.
not directly, abutting. And so the crane would be set up in the courtyard at Brigham and Women's parking lot.
Okay, any further discussion?
I'm just curious about the time, 3 a.m. to 10 p.m. Why 3? It just seems like an odd time.
So, Shaughnessy Crane intends on arriving on site around 3:30 a.m. And the setup, the erection and dismantling will take a while. So on Saturday, the work will go, until about 5 p.m. And then we'll come back again on Sunday. And, with the rigging and all of the counterweight, it just takes a while to actually set up the operation. So that's why we're proposing such an early time.
So I'm not in construction, so what it sounds like is that's not unusual that you would start that early so that you could, that's all, I'm just curious.
Okay.
That's
Any
correct.
further support before you open up
Thank
the
you.
public hearing? Seeing none, Devin, can we open up the public hearing?
At this time, there is 1 attendee in person and 9 joining us virtually. No one has used the hand raise or Q&A feature to indicate they'd like to make a comment.
Okay, unless there's any further discussion, I'd like to move approval of the noise bylaw waiver for the work to be done at 8 Boylston Street on November 18, 2023, this upcoming Saturday, and Sunday, November 19, from 3 a.m. to 10 p.m. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. John Van Slyke. Aye. Mary Martin.
Aye.
Mike Sandman.
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
And Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, we need to close the hearing. Okay, close the hearing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, warrant article.
You actually have an interview that I left off your original agenda.
Oh, okay. And,
For this-
on the script,
The Small Business Development Committee, you have Karen Flannery joining you this evening.
okay.
How many babies?
There are 2 vacancies, 2 or 3.
Thank you.
Okay, Karen Flannery, please introduce yourself and indicate your interest, and, expertise for participating on this committee.
Okay, hi, my name is Karen Flannery. I am a co-owner of Andam Art Studios, which is on Andam Place, the little alley in the village next to Boca Grande. And we're an art studio that provides private and semi-private art spaces for ceramic and non-ceramic artists. We're about 3,000 square feet. We currently have 34 members. In addition, we have a 900 square foot space that we have available for rental, and we use ourselves for workshops and things like that. And I was asked to be on the committee. I have longtime Brookline resident, small business owner. And I think that I represent the businesses that don't have store frontage, don't have street frontage, but there's a lot of us out there who are the ones that are getting our coffee from brothers and sisters, getting takeout lunches from every place in the village. And we support the community in many different ways, but we're sort of not seen a lot. Meredith and Aaron have been wonderful about always keeping in touch with us and knowing what we're up to. But I just think that I can provide a voice for a different kind of business. So many businesses are restaurants, hospitality, things like that. And we're just sort of a different kind of business, and we have different needs, and I'd like to be involved.
Okay, thank you. Could you give us a couple examples of the different needs that your business and your type of business have compared to storefront?
Sure. Well, I mean, like a restaurant has, lots of public entering and things like that. We don't, other than once or twice a year when we hold open studios. So that my needs are supporting our 34 members, issues around parking and transportation and safety, because we are open 24/7. So we have people leaving here often at 2 a.m. or coming in at 5 a.m. So it's sort of safety, security, getting our members, making our members happy, keeping them happy, and providing a great place for them to work, but also participate in the community. One of our members just painted the utility box at the end of the alley. We want to be community members.
Any further questions? Yeah.
I just want to introduce myself because I'm the select board liaison to that committee.
Yes, I
And
know.
It's delightful to have someone from the end of place applying to be on that committee. And of course, to have that person be you is equally delightful. For people who have never discovered Andom Place,
Yes.
I'm gonna guess that this might be the first time ever in Brookline government to be an appointee from Andom Place. Yeah, it is, I think, safe to describe as an alleyway, right?
Oh, it's absolutely an alley.
Yeah.
Yeah, with potholes that will swallow you up. Yes.
Yes, but, and I confess to not realizing there were businesses that actually face on Andom Place. But
Yeah.
I'm delighted by yours, and I'm delighted you applied for this committee.
Great.
This committee-
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I agree. It's great that you stepped forward, because you represent a type of vision that we ignore because we don't know about it.
Right,
That
right.
you may have certain peculiar needs that we're missing, and we can help
Great.
address. Once you know about it through this committee and through your participation and other events on tonight. So thank you
Okay.
for applying.
Thank you.
Further questions? We will be making our appointments at a later meeting. So I thank you for your application and.
Thank you. Okay, wonderful.
Okay, next, let's see, warrant articles.
So there are two items for the select board to consider this evening. The first is a resolution that was filed and delivered in the supplemental mailing on special town meeting 4, Article 1. So you should have that in your packet. And late breaking is an item on Article 15, a minor amendment. But I think given the time, let's start with special town meeting 4-1, and then we can go to 15 after that.
Miriam,
I can save a lot of time for discussion on my part. I'm not voting for it. I don't think referral is the way to go. I think we've done way too, Paul, especially, we've done way too much work. Referral gets us money. That's it, my 2 cents.
Okay. Well, we-
I was just gonna say, I wanted to make sure that, I think you used the word resolution, it's actually a referral motion.
Well, it's in the form of a resolution.
Oh, it is,
but yeah.
it's a referral motion, and they're referring, I think, John Pagolis is the primary, petitioner, who I have a lot of respect for, I understand they have some concerns. Hopefully, we'll assuage those concerns this evening through our conversations and speech. But yes, I would agree with Miriam that, you know, we have been through a 2-year process. That includes the Harvard Street portion of the consensus plan, as well as the M district, which is a little bit newer. There's been hundreds of activities and engagements and meetings and walkabouts and office hours and surveys and forums. There has been a historic compromise between 2 organizations that typically would agree on nothing. To defer this for study would gain us nothing other than perhaps someone that disagrees with something that's happening maybe around the corner from them. They could tug something else, you know, towards them. But I believe that, you know, we really are at the time that this article, the consensus article, it started out as the planning department's article. It turned into the select board's article. And now through the incredible amount of work and collaboration, it's turned into the community's article. It's no longer ours, it's theirs. And I really believe that we need to do, it's time for us to take a step forward and approve this. And I would strongly agree, concur with Miriam that we should vote no action on it.
Okay, Devin, is there anyone available to present on this resolution?
Virtual attendees here.
Does anyone raise their hand? See?
I don't do.
Okay. Well, based on the information before us, we can vote. Let's see, any further discussion? I'll move no action on the resolution. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. John Stoyak,
Aye.
Miriam Ashkenazi,
Aye.
Mike Salmon,
Aye.
Paul Warren,
Aye.
and Chair votes aye. So what's the next one?
Okay, so the next one is Article 15. Article 15, the amendment is inserting the words, but excluding domestic rodents into the list of animals that potentially be banned.
So that's the growth.
So
My guinea pig is back.
that is the amendment proposed by
Listen,
Dr.
I
Martin.
finally found a picture of my disabled guinea pig in his little 3D printed wheelchair. Thank you. Yeah, really.
So remind me what our vote was.
So of course,
For 14, it was 4-1.
this is 15.
For 15, it was
4 with the extension, I think.
Yeah, you did.
4 in favor of 15 with an extension.
Right, I would vote for this now.
Because it.
Because I can get my guinea pig.
Miriam, I think it was 4-2.
That was
4-15?
That was 14.
14, oh, was it?
This
Oh,
one
you're
is
right.
15.
yeah.
Could you please, for me, I'm sorry, I'm checked out for just a moment.
No, that's fine.
Could you describe what the amendment is?
So it's adding to the definition of rodents, but excluding domestic rodents from the banned list.
So what,
Traveling.
so what,
Yes,
traveling animals,
Yeah.
but this is not the pet store, this is traveling.
this is traveling animals.
Are the traveling guinea pigs killed?
Trained guinea pig. I
You
didn't know
can adopt a guinea pig
Sure.
at MSPCA, that's all.
Yeah, that's not this article. This is
It's, yeah.
traveling guinea pigs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, right, this is the pet stores, this is number 15.
I mean, this could, because it could be that because there are
They train rats.
people that
and-
bring
Yeah.
people and.
All right.
It won't be a parade of.
Okay, we voted 4-0-1. Any further discussion?
I have to ask this question. I'm
Please
sorry.
do.
Well, no, it just occurred to me, have there not been events, including, events that were sort of sanctioned by Brookline that involve someone with reptiles, bringing them to a street fair and allowing people to touch the reptile and put the reptile around their neck? I'm talking about the same topic here, but, seem to recall one on Harvard Street, maybe thinking of different locations, but, and would that be a traveling show with the animals? Would that was this article?
Traveling Animal Act is defined as any performance of animals where such animals are transported to, from, or between locations for the purpose of such performance in a mobile or traveling housing
Essentially, yes.
Okay, so the SPCA could not bring a bunch of cats or
Well, they could,
rodents.
it's not performance. I mean, if you're bringing it for adoption, it's not.
What they want to perform.
Well, yeah, I think about the science museum, you go and there's could be a minor bird or a parrot or people like a reptiles, and you say that, I remember an owl. So,
So one-eyed owl, actually, we just saw that last week.
yeah, oh, okay, well, wow, that's interesting.
Yes, my only point is that in fact, we have in the past, sanctioned that, the word needs to go out to sponsors of the event, and we don't sanction that. Well, I'm not saying I'm changing my vote on it, so. In favor of it, but.
Any other discussion? I mean, my concern is that we're banning a broad array of things that, some of which are very, very important. For example, the eagle that, was poisoned by eating a rat a couple months ago. If someone would bring them around to show the dangers of the rat poison or whatever, and that could be banned. And those
So
are,
you were the one when they voted.
no, I think Mary.
I abstain.
Mike abstains. 401.
For 4-0, meaning we no
already
action.
banned,
Favor.
that we ban 4-0-1, that we ban travel.
You were with the advisory committee, you supported the advisory committee.
Okay. And his advisory take, are they taking up this one
It
now?
got filed over the weekend, so I'm sure they'll probably take it up today or tomorrow.
I mean, this doesn't change my vote.
Doesn't say in my vote.
All right, not gonna change my vote. Maybe we can vote.
I'm afraid it doesn't change my vote.
Oh, this is,
Do you want to?
But my change for now.
John's question?
I'm sorry, you have a question?
No, I mean, I did have a question, but it was, I aired it.
Okay.
But now I've had a chance to look at it.
Oh,
So I'm in a better position to answer it.
that's good, that's great.
So what I understand the question is if there's a traveling show involving reptiles and amphibians, that would not be covered by this ban. So like the amendment that's before you,
Okay.
there's a list of prohibited animals. Amphibians and reptiles are not included. The amendment that adds an exception to the prohibited animals that would allow domesticated rodents.
What about birds? Are they included?
So in other words, my concern was misplaced. It wouldn't ban. That was just. Yeah. Not that particular animal.
The other way
Yeah.
around, it exempts
Snake
it.
act.
It exempts that.
Okay,
Or they're not prohibited, so they're allowed.
Yeah.
Birds.
Birds are not prohibited either, so they,
Okay, I'm comfortable then. Let's see, so let's, to, change our vote, so I move reconsideration of, warrant article 15, on favor, please indicate by saying aye, John Van Coyer,
Aye.
Mary Mastronardi.
Aye.
Mike Sanders,
Aye.
Paul Warren.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. I move, favorable action on on Article 15 as amended, with the understanding that we have from town council with respect to who is and is not included. All in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Councilman Square,
Aye.
Marion Osterman,
Aye.
Alexander,
Abstain?
Paul Warren.
Aye.
Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay, any other?
That's it for now.
Any other business? Oh, wow.
That one.
All right. 5 minutes for town meeting.